Welcome to all of you. I'm Ann Cooper. I'm the broadcast director here at the Journalism School. And I'm delighted to be able to welcome all of you here this evening. The murder of Russian-American journalist Paul Klebnikov in Moscow on July 9th, 2004 was sadly not a unique event, nor is it unique that Paul's murder remains unsolved today, all these years later. Last week, the Committee to Protect Journalists was here at the Journalism School to release its latest assessment of the sorry state of impunity in the cases of journalists murdered around the world. CPJ reported that in Russia, 18 cases of journalists killed since 2000 remain unsolved. Paul Klebnikov's, of course, is among them. Now, one bright spot actually came out of this case, though, and that is the Klebnikov family's determination to build a lasting legacy around the values that Paul embraced in his terrific investigative journalism. One way the Paul Klebnikov Fund seeks to do that is through its prize for integrity in journalism, which this year honors Novaya Gazeta investigations editor Roman Schleynov. I'm delighted to welcome Roman here on behalf of the Columbia Graduate School of Journalism, Columbia's Harriman Institute, and the Paul Klebnikov Fund. I'm also delighted to welcome Ann Garrels, former senior foreign correspondent for National Public Radio. Ann has had a very distinguished and award-winning career in journalism, helping American TV and public radio audiences make sense of wars, refugee crises, the uprising in Tiananmen Square, and so many other historic events over the years. But what many of us treasure most about Annie's reporting is her long experience in Russia. It's a country she's covered in depth and with understanding and empathy since the 1980s. And we're pleased that she could join us tonight for this conversation with Roman Schleynov. Now, to introduce the rest of the evening, I want to turn this over to Musa Klebnikov, the Executive Director of the Paul Klebnikov Fund.
Very exciting to be at the Journalism School at Columbia at the kind invitation of Ann Cooper. When I was married to Paul, I became acutely aware of what journalists have to do to write a good story. And increasingly, my appreciation of investigative journalists grew. When Paul was assassinated, I found myself embraced by the community of journalists, especially the Russia hands, including Ann, who was then at CPJ. Now I appreciate them even more and certainly enjoy their company. Anne has always been so supportive, so thank you. As Anne was saying, in memory of Paul and to honor his hope for a better Russia, his friends and family created a foundation. And there are many board members here and supporters, and thank you for coming and continuing to support. We felt that the most effective way to encourage civil society in Russia was by supporting remarkable individuals. We're working closely with the Harriman Institute and are planning to create a civil society fellowship program that will bring Russian professionals here to Columbia. And Roman Schleynov is here as the winner of our prize for integrity in journalism. And we've all completely endorsed him and are happy that he's the best possible person to come on this wonderful first year at Columbia. Roman is a truth seeker. He sees corruption around him and with laser sharpness finds all the hidden threads that tie a story together. He writes with glee about the corporate soap opera being acted out by Putin's circle. He finds proof of foreign involvement in illegal activities. He asks difficult questions. He seeks the mechanism by which better governance could be enforced. Roman said that to launch a clean hands movement in Russia would be like organizing the revolution. However daunting the landscape, he does look for positive signs. He points out, for example, that the need for foreign investment is leading to greater transparency in business. And I'm sure you'll pick up on that. Roman is a sensational journalist and generous with his colleagues. He's been meeting with fascinated folks at the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, New York Times, ABC, sharing information. this international collegial approach is exactly what we hope will lead to more investigative journalism in Russia and understanding in the U.S. The Paul Klebnikov Fund and future fellowship we're creating at Harriman needs support to continue. I suppose that it's hard to imagine people coming here could have such an impact in Russia, but I think it really does. And your commitment to civil society in Russia is very important, and we hope you will support us in bringing these people like Roman and many others here. We're very lucky tonight that Garrels has agreed to interview Roman, so I'll close and turn it over to her. And thank you very much for coming, and hope you'll come to our future events as well. So, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Every time Novaya Gazeta comes out, and I keep praying every time it does that it will, I look for Roman's articles because I always learn something. And he helps me and has helped me get behind the scenes. And when I found out he was going to be here and was awarded this grant, I was thrilled. He certainly deserves it. To quote you, in an early conversation, you told me that more than $81 billion of foreign investments came to Russia last year. That's according to the Russian Statistics Agency. So some foreigners obviously think it's the risk, but just how risky is it?
Well, as any emerging market, Russia is attracting Western investors, and it is quite understandable why people from the West and why businessmen from the West, some businessmen from the West, are eager to invest in Russia, because you can invest money and get them back and get some certain profit in some certain incomparably small amount of time if you compare it with the other markets, developed markets already. So, but at the same time, we have a lot of dangers. We have a lot of dangers for those who are working and who are coming in Russian market. Even sometimes those people who are working in the Russian market for many years and can't be considered to be newcomers, they sometimes got into the real dangerous situation and are in real danger. We know the cases, the recent cases that happened in Russia, the death of the jurist of Hermitage, Sergei Magnitsky, in Russian prison.
He was a lawyer defending the Hermitage capital case.
He was the lawyer working for the Hermitage.
Investigating them.
In Russia. We know the other cases when foreign investors lost money in Russia. We know the criminal cases that was started in Russia, not for any justice, but just to press foreign investors. So there are a lot of examples of different dangerous situations.
What's the
I'd like
root
to
of the
discuss
problem?
this problem, to show some examples, maybe to discuss the question what foreign investors do not know about Russia and why they trust sometimes Russian governments too much when they invest